This video is dedicated to the Hobarts laser cutter and the associated software. So, laser cutter consists of two units, mainly the laser cutter itself and the local exhaust ventilation underneath. And the local exhaust ventilation is to be used with the laser cutter at all times. So when you want to start your laser cutting job, all you need to do is to lift up the hood of the laser cutter, and you need to place your material. In this case, it's going to be acrylics inside. So what I'm going to use is one of the offcuts that I have from a previous job. I'll place it right here in the middle. This is mostly done for the educational purposes. I would say from experience I usually place it somewhere here, with the reason being like I try to push it towards the edges, as it will be locked and firmly fixed in place by that. However, in this case, it would be interesting to make sure that the acrylics piece that we're going to be working with is firmly fixed without using that trick. So to do so, we have here in the corner we have a bunch of T-shaped pieces, so you can use them. So those pins, they allow you to essentially pin down the acrylics so it does not wobble during the laser cutting process. The reason why it happens is mainly because of the way that due to the vibrations caused by the local exhaust ventilation and the fan that runs inside the laser cutter itself. So for the most part, what you've got to do, you need to make sure that you place all your pins as tightly and neatly as possible. So the honeycomb shape should assist you with this. I'm essentially trying whether it's wobbling into X or Y direction. And if it does, then it means that something is wrong. Right, so when this is done, we just need to identify the area where we would like to have the laser cut done. And in this instance, I would say that somewhere near the corner, somewhere here, again, to make sure that we use material responsibly, I believe somewhere here would be a nice place to do the laser cut. So what now needs to happen is we turn on the laser cutter as well as the local exhaust ventilation. You can close the hood now. And we can dive into the software. As for the software, I do prefer to use Inkscape, as it is an open source software and it can be used with the SVG files, essentially to work with the vector format. For this tutorial, I plan to laser cut the Design Suite logo. So I have this image, the logo, in .svg file, so in vector file format. I drag and drop it into Inkscape. I say OK, so the default settings are fine. Then I would like to quickly adjust it to be in the corner of the page, because it will just happen with the positioning. We can quickly assess the size, actual physical size of the logo that we're going to be laser cutting. So it's going to be about 55 millimeters by something like 70-ish. So this image, it does not contain any laser cutting per se. So this image is going to be considered by the laser cutting software as raster image, and it's going to be rastered. What it means? It means that it's going to be turned into grayscale by the laser cutting software, and it's going to be rastered on top of the, or rather engraved on top of the material that you're using. To laser cut it, we need to use lines that are of, and this is imperative, of red color, and by red I mean 255. So if we take RGB, it is 255 as red, and green and blue are zeros, and the thickness is a must to be hairline. So let me show you how this works on an example. So I just created a rectangle, and I will put the logo inside of this rectangle. Right. I'm gonna scale it a little bit. I will adjust it. Okay. Control G, so I can group it, and I can position it again at the corner. So if we look at the parameters of this outline, it has no fill. The stroke paint is 255 in RGB scale, and green and blue are 0, as I mentioned before. And the most important thing, stroke style, is the thickness, width in this case, of this outline is hairline. It means that with the red color and hairline selected, this outline is going to be translated by the laser cutting software as the line that needs to be laser cut, whereas the image itself is going to be rastered and it's going to be engraved. What we're going to do next is simply file and print, or you can press Ctrl P. The printer is already selected. This is our laser cutter. We just click print, and what's going to happen is that this print is going to be sent to the laser cutter software. Specifically, this is it. This is where you can find it. So you just navigate to hidden icons, and here's this red icon. Or otherwise, what you can do, you can find it here on your main desktop. So if we go back we can see that here we have our logo. Now, because we positioned our material somewhere in the middle of the table, we need to move the nozzle, or rather the laser cutter nozzle, towards the material. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm looking at the material of the laser cutter, and I will be navigating the nozzle towards the material. So as you can see, the nozzle moved. It moved, and it is positioned approximately above the point that I would like to start the laser cutting. So to simplify this process, you can open the hood and watch, and what you're going to be watching out for is the laser LED. So the laser nozzle, it is equipped with the LED that helps you to find the right spot. So as you can see, there is a laser dot. Now we understand where the laser cutter is pointed at. I will move it just a little bit lower, so we have a little bit of that margin, and I will move it a little bit to the left, probably a bit too much, so I'll put it about here. I do believe that this should be fine. Now we can close the hood, and as you could see, the dot, the laser cutter dot, immediately disappeared. So it was turned off automatically. What we're gonna do on the software side is we're gonna select relocate view, and we're gonna select corner as it is selected right now, and we're gonna say to pointer. So what happened is that this corner was moved to the exact spot where the laser cutter is pointed. Now we can verify whether the laser cut is gonna be, whether our image is gonna fit nicely onto the acrylic piece that we are working with. So for that reason, again, we can open the hood, we see the laser dot, and on the software we just select again focus view, and we move the nozzle, and we see that it should fit perfectly, at least on the y-axis, and on the x-axis it also fits perfectly. So final check. So with all those checks, we can begin the laser cutting, or rather we can proceed forth to select the material. We close the hood, and now on the software we go to settings. Usually what you being presented here with is the default material, and it is paper. I do strongly recommend to try your laser cutting skills on a piece of paper first. It is a very good representative of what your end result will look like, and it is much cheaper than using, and much more responsible and effective to use a piece of paper rather than to use a piece of acrylic. So I know that this piece of acrylic is a material that's going to be under the plastics, acrylics, and here I select cast acrylics, regular cast acrylic. The difference between deep engraving and cast acrylic is that with the deep engraving, if you go to manual control, you'll notice that the blue vector and black, the speed is, the power is 100% and speed is 70%. Here it's going to be, power is much less, it's going to be 21%. And this is essentially influences how deep the engraving is going to be. I'll say that from experience, this one looks well from distance. If you need to make some sort of a label, for that reason, this looks well for different objects, like I don't know, like a holder for your, like a coaster for your teacup, or maybe some sort of a business card or something like that, or even again, maybe even a label, for a door label. Anyway, in this case we're going to use cast acrylic, so we select it, then we go to material thickness. Here I know that this acrylics is 3 mm in thickness. I press apply, I press OK, and now we are ready to laser cut. So the only thing that is left is to start engraving, and due to health and safety policy, you need to wait until the laser cutting is finished near the laser cutter. So do not exit the room, just wait until it's finished. It usually takes maximum of 15 minutes, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. And do not open the hood, because even though there is an interlock system in place, so you won't be able to hurt yourself with the laser, but the thing is that the laser cutter is not going to be laser cutting anything. So if you want to watch the process, you just need to watch it through the hood, through the visor glass of the hood. So we press start, and the process begins. And what the printer does first, it first engraves, and only afterwards it cuts. When the laser cutting process is finished, you lift up the hood and you inspect the laser cut. In this case, it came out perfectly. You take out the pins. You can see that the laser cut is already coming off. Take out the pins and you put them back here. You take this piece of acrylics. You can see that it's cut out already, and very nice. There you go. Beautiful job. And with this piece of acrylic, what you can do is, again, you can have many more stuff printed out here, and usually we place the offcuts into one of the bins, and this is specifically to be used for test prints, so test laser cuts and whatnot. So now the only thing that is left is to turn off the printer. So that is done on the software side of things. You press the deactivate printer, the printer shuts off. Close the lid and you turn off the local exhaust ventilation. And this concludes the laser cutting tutorial.